Welcome back to the 21 Boom Guided Meditation Series. This is your guide, Coach Feeney. Today's going to be a little different, and kind of think of this week as kind of a transition week now, as, believe it or not, this is the 36th week edition of this transitioning period here. Kind of going off into a new curriculum, for lack of a better word here. So I want to touch upon some of the more important things that we've gone over the past 35 weeks. When mood is low, motivation follows action rather than the other way around. When you put the action first, motivation follows. Tiny actions can fundamentally alter your relationship to the world for the better. Pick a few ordinary activities from your daily life that you can turn into quote unquote mindfulness bells, that is, reminders to stop and attend. A list for you some things you might like to turn into bells. Why not write this list down and stick them in a place where you can use that list as a gentle reminder. Preparing food. Any food preparation is a great opportunity for mindfulness. Vision, hearing, taste, smell, touch. Focus on the feel of the knife as it slices through vegetables of different texture, or the smell released as each vegetable is chopped. Eating. Try having part of a meal in silence or without the distraction of TV or background noise. Really focus on the food, colors, shapes, perhaps thinking about how this food came to you, the sensations of eating. See how easily you taste the first mouthful and no other. What does the fourth mouthful taste like? And as you can see here, this is kind of taking all that we've learned as well and reviewing this, and then how do we put this into action in our daily lives as well. So continuing, washing the dishes, a great opportunity for exploring sensations, constantly coming back to the present moment. Rinsing this dish, water flowing, sensation of temperature, etc. Driving. Be aware of deciding where to focus your mind while you are driving. If you decide to focus on the upcoming meeting, etc., know that this is the decision you have made. If you decide to make your primary focus something other than the actual driving, notice how quickly you can shift driving into the foreground of your attention when the situation demands. Notice if you are leaving the actual act of driving too much in the background of your attention. Take some of the driving, all the sensations, the movement of your hands, feet, and so on, the visual scanning you are doing, the shifting of your vision from close up to far away, and so on. Walking. Pay attention to the actual sensations of walking. Notice when the mind goes elsewhere and come back to just walking. Become a model citizen. When crossing the street, use the pedestrian signals as an opportunity to stand quietly and focus on your breath, rather than an opportunity to try to beat the lights. Red lights are an opportunity to sit quietly, peacefully, and be aware of your breath. And listening, when you are listening, notice when you are not listening, when you start to think of something else, what you are going to say in response, etc. Come back to actually listening. When stress and exhaustion are overwhelming, everyday life offers endless opportunities for you to stop, to focus, to remind yourself to be fully awake and present to what is happening right now. Your wild and precious life, weaving your own parachute, and using mindfulness to maintain your peace in a frantic world. Mindfulness can serve as an emergency parachute. It needs weaving every day so that it's ready and waiting should you encounter an emergency. Here are some of the tips going forward. So start your day with mindfulness. When you open your eyes, gently pause before taking 5 deliberate breaths. This is your chance to reconnect with your body. If you feel tired, anxious, unhappy, or in any way distressed, see these feelings as thoughts, as mental events condensing and dissolving in the space of awareness. If your body aches, recognize these sensations as sensations. See if you can accept all of your thoughts, feelings, and sensations in a gentle and compassionate way. There is no need to try and change them, accept them, since they are already here. Having stepped out of automatic pilot in this way, you might choose to scan the body for a minute or two, or focus on the breath, or do some gentle stretches before getting out of bed. Using breathing spaces to punctuate your day, using breathing spaces at preset times helps you to reestablish your focus in the here and now, so that you can respond with wisdom and compassion to thoughts, feelings, and bodily sensations as you move through the day. Maintain your mindfulness practice, and as best as you can, continue with your formal meditation practice. They are the practices that support your breathing spaces and help you to maintain mindfulness throughout as much of your daily life as possible. Befriend your feelings. Whatever you feel, as best you can, see if you can bring an open and kind-hearted awareness to all of your feelings. Remember to roll out the welcome mat to even your most painful thoughts, such as fatigue, fear, frustration, loss, guilt, or sadness. This will diffuse your automatic reactions and transform a cascade of reactions into a series of choices. When you feel tired, frustrated, anxious, angry, or any other powerful emotion, take a breathing space, and this will ground your thoughts, diffuse your negative emotions, and reconnect you with your bodily sensations. You will then be in a better position to make skillful decisions. For example, if you feel tired, you may choose to do some stretches to reawaken and re-energize your body. Mindful activities, whatever you do, see if you can remain mindful throughout as much of the day as possible. For example, when you are washing dishes, try to feel the water, the plates, and the fluctuating sensations in your hands. When you're outside, look around and observe sounds, sights, and smells of the world around you. Can you feel the pavement through your shoes? Can you taste or smell the air? Can you feel it moving through your hair and caressing your skin? Increase your level of exercise, like walking, cycling, gardening, going to the gym. Anything physical can be used to help weave your parachute. See if you can bring a mindful and curious attitude to your body as you exercise. And notice the thoughts and feelings as they arise. Pay close attention if you feel the need to grit your teeth, or you start to feel the first stirrings of aversion, or other negative thoughts or sensations. See if you can gently observe the sensations as they unfold. Breathe with and into their intensity, and gently increase the length and intensity of your exercises, but always try and remain mindful. Remember the breath. The breath is always there for you. It anchors you in the present. It is like a good friend. It reminds you that you are okay just as you are. Making the choice. So it is time for you to decide which practice or combination of practices you think is sustainable for you in the long term. You should be realistic and remember that your choice is not set in stone. You can change it from day to day, from week to week, or from year to year to match the demands being made upon you and what it is you want to explore through your practice. Sometimes you may feel the need for reconnecting with the body, like when we've done the body scan meditation. While at other times, you may choose deliberately to bring a worry or problem right into the center of your practice, using, like we did a few weeks ago, the Exploring Difficulties meditation. The choice is yours. You now have the skills to decide for yourself. How long should you meditate for? The practice itself will teach you. Recall that meditation was first developed when humans lived in and off the fields. Indeed, one of the words that we translate into English as meditation actually means cultivation in the original Pali language. It originally referred to cultivation of crops in the fields and flowers in the garden. So, how long should the cultivation of the mindfulness garden take each day? It is best to go into the garden and see for yourself. Sometimes 10 minutes in the garden of meditation practice will be needed, but you may find once there that your cultivation will slip effortlessly into 20 or 30 minutes. There is no minimum or maximum time. Clock time is different from meditation time. You could simply experiment with what feels right and with whatever gives you the best chance to renew and nourish yourself. Every minute counts. Most people find that it is most helpful to combine some regular everyday formal practice with mindfulness in the world. There is something about the everydayness of the practice that is important. By everyday, I mean that a majority of days each week will find you taking yourself away to be by yourself for a period, no matter how short. Remember the advice of yoga teachers. The most difficult move in yoga is the move onto your mat. Similarly, the most difficult aspect of formal mindfulness practice is getting onto your chair or stool or cushion. So if you find you have missed it for a while, why not come and sit for 1 minute? Just 1 minute. Listen to your mind's reaction. What? Just 1 minute? That'd be no good. There's absolutely no point in doing anything unless I can do it properly. Listen to the tone of voice that has appeared in your mind. Is it helpful, or is it hindering your best intentions with its heckering perfectionism? Come and just come for 1 minute. There's no need to try and stop the hindering voice. Carry it with you as you come and give yourself the rich blessing of 1 precious minute of sitting. 1 moment in which to remind your body and mind that there is a different, wiser, quieter voice to be heard. And that is enough for today. Whichever practices you decide upon, many find that making space in the day for the breathing space is a great blessing. It's always there for you in moments of stress or unhappiness. It's the perfect way of checking in with yourself during the day. In many ways, the main meditation practice that you eventually decide upon is there to support your breathing spaces. It's your parachute. Many people that have come along for this journey with me have said that it's the most important thing they've ever learned. So practice as if your life depended on it, as in many ways it surely does. For then you will be able to live the life you want, and the life that you have, and live it as if it truly mattered. Sometimes poetry captures the soul of an idea more than anything else. This poem is by Roger Keyes, was inspired by the paintings of Japanese artist Katsushika Hakusai, who lived from 1760 to 1849. Hakusai's message in his paintings, captured in this poem, sums up the message of, say, the past few weeks here, and its invitation. I offer it to you as food for the journey. Hakusai says, look carefully. He says, pay attention, notice. He says, keep looking, stay curious. He says, there is no end to seeing. He says, look forward to getting old. He says, keep changing. You just get more who you really are. He says, get stuck, accept it, repeat yourself as long as it's interesting. He says, keep doing what you love. He says, keep praying. He says, every one of us is a child. Every one of us is ancient. Every one of us has a body. He says, every one of us is frightened. He says, every one of us has to find a way to live with fear. He says, everything is alive. Shells, buildings, people, fish, mountains, trees. Wood is alive. Water is alive. Everything has its own life. Everything lives inside us. He says, live with the world inside you. He says, it doesn't matter if you draw or write books. It doesn't matter if you saw wood or catch fish. It doesn't matter if you sit at home and stare at the ants on your veranda or the shadows of the trees and grasses in your garden. It matters that you care. It matters that you feel. It matters that you notice. It matters that life lives through you. Contentment is life living through you. Joy is life living through you. Satisfaction and strength is life living through you. Peace is life living through you. He says, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Look, feel, let life take you by the hand. Let life live through you.